Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. Please join us over at rivianstories.com for all the latest Rivian news. Maybe pick up yourself a t-shirt while you're there. Thanks. Jimmy, have you done the recall fix yet?
I have.
Yeah, how'd it go?
I think it was Wednesday was the investors call when we got the email that the recall was going to be announced. And Thursday morning, I may have called somebody that I know at Rivian and said, I have 9 phone numbers, so 9 total people that you tell me where we can meet you in Jacksonville, and we will make it happen. And Friday morning, between the hours of 9 and 11, the mobile tech met us over on the south side of Jacksonville, and we were able to knock out 7 of the 9 owners. Were able to get their recall done, and it was a very seamless process. I think it took longer to get our information, mileage, than it did to actually do the recall.
Yeah. So for everyone just tuning in, what's the recall? Like people that don't know?
It was the passenger seat safety restraint, and it was a very simple process. Plug in their computer via OBD2 port, and it was a matter of extending the passenger seatbelt out to change or to get the vehicle to recognize a change in the contact for the switch. Pull it out 5 inches, put it back, check the signal again, pull it all the way out, look for the signal, put it all the way back, look for the signal, pull it back out 5 inches, look for the signal, put it back, look for the signal. Very simple. And of the 7 that made it, we all passed. No need for parts.
Cool. Yeah, I still haven't done it. I need to get done. Skylar, did you get yours done?
I have not, no. And the other thing is, didn't they announce that they thought that it was going to be less than 100 vehicles or some crazy small percentage that they thought might actually have the issue?
Correct. Yeah, it was I want to say the number was 12,700 and something, and they expected less than 1% would need parts.
Okay. Cool. Well, related to service, the last time I had service, I got some like the lube put on for some of the clicks and creaks and stuff, and within a couple weeks it kind of came back, and I kind of feel like I'm back to where it was before, as far as like, just quite a bit noisier than those first few thousand miles. And the part that I didn't know if we could talk about, Skylar, I thought that I remember you mentioning like a different kind of fix. Did that take with yours, or was it successful or not?
Has been so far, but my other one lasted for weeks or maybe even a month or 2 before the sounds came back. So hopefully it is a more permanent, more durable fix for that issue.
Where do you guys prefer to go for Rivian OTA update tracker? Do you prefer riviantracker.io or?
That's the one that I'm most familiar with.
Yeah. You guys are going to make fun of me too, because I still haven't updated my key fob. I've updated to the latest, but I still haven't gotten my key fob like out of my bag to update that.
Yeah. So since you brought that up, I am now back to using my key fob. I am back to, or not back to, but I have gotten in the habit of force closing my app and then using the proximity of my key fob to unlock the truck, and it's actually really good. A lot better than the phone can be sometimes even.
Right.
So it's been nice. I mean, even to the point that if I keep it clipped on my backpack that I take pretty much everywhere with me Monday through Friday. And there have been moments where I have run into a store, left the backpack in there, and then remembered that my truck is still unlocked because the proximity of the key being in the truck still. But other than that, it has been really good for proximity. Yeah, so you got to turn it on.
Yep.
It's a setting within the settings of the truck.
Anything else that we want to talk about from this latest software update? The new camera view kind of blew my mind. Got a bunch more pixels added, basically, to the height of the view. I thought it was gonna mess up where I park in my garage. I use the camera for a certain spot, but it's actually the same. I can see my license plate now, like very clearly.
Right.
So that's just interesting to me that they had these pixels available, but just weren't using them, And then all of a sudden, okay. Like how many other things? Another example of that is camping mode. And when that came out, we had no idea that we'd use there's lights in the side view mirror that could basically be floodlights. Didn't even know we had them, So it's that's crazy to me.
Yeah, and RGB
High.
accent lighting, which we didn't know about until the Halloween Easter egg, and they still have not made that configurable yet, but that has to be coming. So, Kyle, you mentioned pixels, which I want to kind of bridge the gap between the new camera view and what we were talking about just a minute ago. For the last several updates and, everything but like maybe the first month, the phone is key has worked flawlessly on my Google Pixel phone. And I do think that Apple devices, iPhones, have had more issue with proximity lock and unlock than what I've seen out there with Android devices, which is kind of interesting.
Interesting. I do think that it would be fun to maybe end this one with just talking about what we'd like to see sooner than later. We do this a little bit anyway, but what we'd like to see sooner than later in the next 1 or 2 or 3 OTAs, because they've been really ripping out like once a month or so. We haven't had to wait too long, that's for sure, which I love. But any other things we want to talk about on this one? I will say that I love the progress bar for podcast episodes in Spotify. I don't know if you guys have noticed that or if you ever listen to podcasts in the Rivian via Spotify. I do now. And so it'll show like the progress of how much I've listened to. The other thing I love even more than that is now the left-hand steering wheel pad and scroll wheel. If you click to the right, it just fast forwards 15 seconds if you're in a podcast. And then same thing, if you go left, it reverses 15 seconds. So it's a little bit of like you have that on these apps a lot, like skip forward 15 seconds and back, on your podcatcher apps. So I did like that. I will say that my screen still draws up a no media found screen a ton when I'm in Spotify. You know what I mean? Just that blank screen. In every update, there's something like fix rare issues when, connecting to Spotify, So I think it even says it somewhere here.
I wouldn't doubt it. And I already know what the crowd's going to say. And honestly, at this point, I think I agree with them. And it's that Rivian just needs to embrace Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
All right. Can I change your mind? And I'll start saying GIF if we edit that part out.
They dipped a toe in the water with this last update by using Google Maps locations for the places search.
They did. We'll see. I think for me, if we're going to start talking about some future things we want to see in OTAs, I would like to see, number one, the ability for the truck and SUV to auto tilt the mirrors when I put it in reverse. That doesn't happen right now, and that is something that pretty much every vehicle for the last 8 years has had the ability to do. Waypoints have to happen. It took Tesla almost 10 years to do it. Rivian can do it faster than that, should do it faster than that. Third would probably be, I think proximity garage door would be another cool one. And these are all features for the most part that our Model S has. But proximity garage door would be another good one. And then lastly, probably, and it's a reach to do now, or more of a reach, would be on X off-road maps within the navigation. Rivian currently uses Mapbox. mat box is used by Onyx Off-Road, I don't see how that could be very far away with being a thing. Those are my 4.
Mm-hmm. It's a good ones.
The one that I 110% agree with is multi-step waypoints, whatever you want to call it, but multi-step navigation. And that's huge, especially when, there are key places that you want to see on a longer trip, or you're going here, but you know that you need to charge in between, things like that. And Jimmy's tilting mirror thing, gosh, every time I jump in a vehicle that has that feature, I turn it off. I hate that, but I understand why
Really?
some people like it. Yeah. And here's the thing. If you want to look at the parking lines or how close you are to a curb, just use the bird's eye view. And actually, I still I'm old school. I still use my mirrors more than I use even the bird's eye view, but I'm accustomed to maybe just peeking up a little bit. So, yeah, when I want to see something actually behind me in my side view mirrors, when I'm in reverse, if they're pointed at the ground, that absolutely drives me bonkers.
Because I don't park in the middle of a parking lot, because door dings are a thing, I park along a curb every time. I probably have curb rash on all 4 of my tires because of it. I just want the ability to even program them. Like in the Tesla, I can have them only drive to a certain point as well. There's not like where they drive all the way down. They'll drive to a point that I have set, even if that's just, a 1/4 inch deflection, or a 1/8 of an inch deflection, just to be able to see that curb better than I could, whether it's in a camera or the bird's eye view.
All right, I got mine. When are we going to let the kids turn on their own fan speed and their own temperature? I mean, come on, let's go. So quad zone climate, you know what I mean? They're still asking me to turn the fan up or down, or it's hot or cold back there. And we have to control that with the front driver's or the front passenger seat. So that would be my top for sure. And then the only other thing I wish they could do is give more cup holders via software update.
That's going to be a pretty tough OTA Kyle.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, in the spirit of unlocking pixels, maybe they can unlock new atoms in the car. You know what I was just thinking though? Going back to also the HVAC thing and kind of, controlling the direction of the airflow from the screen versus just having a manual control of it. I think that they should put the air fins in neutral. And that way we could just put like a little sticker tab on there and we could just direct the vents where we want. There needs to be a software update to put it in neutral.
You know what? So you made me remember another one, and it's that we absolutely need vent presets for both the driver and the passenger side. It's like, hey, I want air directly on me, or I don't want air directly on me, and let us set some presets for vent positions. And for me, that will take care of the frustrations of having to go into the touchscreen and move vents around. And right now, the vent positions are not even tied to driver profiles. So when I get back in my R1S after my wife's been driving it, I'm like, oh my God, like it's set to 72. What's going on? Oh, she moved the vents way off to the side, like where I normally have them on me. Like, oh. So, Rivian, save my marriage.
All right, that's all for this one. We have more coming, so please subscribe. In the meantime, we hang out at rivianstories.com. Click on shop, find yourself a t-shirt. Thanks so much for your support.